How is she not fat? How do you eat so much and stay healthy? How do you not weigh 1,000 pounds? What's your workout routine? I literally get paid to eat unhealthy food, so how do I eat so much and not gain any weight?
Well, this could go either way. Hey everyone, I'm Abbey Sharp. Welcome back to Abby's Kitchen. For years now, I have been breaking down problematic diet culture and debunking wellness myths that are ultimately just so pervasive online. And one of the genres that has kind of become my calling card is to break down the oh so popular what I eat in a day. Now, normally I'm being tagged in creators' videos who are promoting these ultra low calorie meals or bogus detoxes or disordered moralizing language accompanying their day of eating. But what about when the creator is monetizing off of eating copious amounts of what Karissa calls unhealthy food? As we often say here, there's a lot to unpack. Okay, first, let me pop in here to tell you about my sponsor that has legit changed the sleep game for me, Oslo Sleep Buds. So as you all probably know by now, I am not a good sleeper. I actually have insomnia, so getting a good night's sleep has really been like a lifelong struggle. So if anything in my sleep environment is not picture perfect, whether it's temperature, sound, my pillow density, it is probably not going to be a good night. But I am obsessed with my Oslo Sleep Buds. These are not like your drugstore earplugs. So first of all, they come in 4 different sizes made with silicone tips that are super soft but also really durable and are engineered to fit snugly and securely in your ear all night long. I'm a side sleeper and basically any other earbud will put a lot of pressure in my ear and just disrupt my sleep even more. But you don't even feel these, like they are so comfy. And instead of just like loosely blocking out some noise, you can use the app to choose a sleep sound, which are specifically engineered to cover up a bunch of common noises like snoring, traffic, and music. They charge in the case and last for 10 hours, so you don't have to worry about them going out midnight or like waking you up. And that is key. I learned this the last time I flew overnight to the UK and I was trying to listen to some white noise on my like regular AirPods and they died a few hours into the flight, which literally shocked me out of my sleep. So yeah, the Oslo Sleep Buds are now a game changer. You can also stream whatever else is helpful for you. So podcasts, audiobooks, meditations, whatever. And the coolest thing is that the biometric sensors can detect when you fall asleep, and then it automatically switches from like your podcast to the masking sounds you've chosen. And then in the morning, you can program it to gently wake you up without disrupting your partner with a like big obnoxious alarm. Like it's really so cool. If you want to learn more about Oslo Sleep Buds, scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in my description for the best sleep of your life. Now, quick note before we get into this, I would love if you would please check out my new podcast, Bite Back with Abbey Sharp. We have so many incredible guests coming on this season, and if you've enjoyed watching my videos in the past, you are going to become obsessed with the pod. But back to the video, let's dive in.
First of all, I want to preface this video by saying you can be healthy at any weight. The scale literally means nothing and all bodies are beautiful.
Okay, so I do appreciate the disclaimer here, which I think was really important to at least set the stage that weight loss isn't necessarily her priority or goal. And I wholeheartedly agree. Yes, all bodies are beautiful and one's body weight is not synonymous with one's health status. But as a dietitian, I also don't like to censor science. So I'm not sure that I can completely agree that the scale means literally nothing when we do have a lot of evidence that obesity, especially intra-abdominal obesity, aka belly fat, does play a role in negative health outcomes and chronic disease. Now, it is by no means the only thing that matters, but it does increase your risk factors for a variety of health conditions. Still, I think very good intentions with that disclaimer, so I like it.
We're on our way to our first stop of the day, which is this famous sandwich shop in Florence, perhaps the most famous sandwich in the entire world. First of all, these sandwiches are huge. We had to start with their most popular one, which has pistachio cream, stracciatella, and this rich, fatty, silky mortadella. But the best part might have been the bread. It is so crunchy. Of course, Chris came to help me film and eat. We definitely didn't finish them both, but we took them home for later.
Okay, so true story, but I have had that exact sandwich from the original Florence restaurant. And honestly, it was probably the best sandwich I have ever eaten. So knowing that it's now closer to me in New York City is very tempting. So right here, we can better understand one of the secrets to these food vloggers' ability to seemingly eat so many different types of high-calorie foods. They don't actually finish them. Now, I know this not just because that's what she's telling us, but little known fact about me is I actually used to be a food writer before I became a YouTuber. So I often would be invited to these big food events or restaurant launches, and I would need to try everything on offer, everything on the menu, and the only way to do that was to bring friends and also just to kind of try a couple bites of each thing. So basically you would be tasting everything, and that would add up to the volume and calories of a full meal rather than just sitting down like you normally would if you went out to a restaurant to just order one thing as your meal. So I kind of think of it as like a sommelier tasting wine. This to me is like the only way to do your job. Now, Karissa's job as a food influencer requires that she actually taste the food because she's rating it, she's describing it. She's doing all of us a service by telling us if it's worth me flying down to Manhattan to buy that sandwich. But contrast that job with like all of these mukbangers who either show like a 40-minute video of them eating an abnormally huge amount of food, or only show themselves taking a bite but never actually chewing or swallowing the food, leading many to speculate that they're just kind of spitting it out. That genre, I believe, is problematic, disingenuous, and adds nothing to the community other than normalizing disordered eating, in my opinion. But let's move on.
And now we are off to find the viral Dubai chocolate bar. Okay, it's a Dubai chocolate bar, but inside of a date. Obviously, I am not eating all of these chocolate bars, but I did message my neighbors to ask if they want to try any, and other than that, we're just gonna save them for later. We're big snackers at night, so we'll probably snack on these later.
Honestly, those look incredible, and I don't even like chocolate that much, but the crunchy phyllo situation with the pistachios, that totally sounds like my style. But as you can see, Karissa basically just kind of took a bite of each and then suggested that she would save the rest for later and also give some to her friend. This is a totally normal, healthy way of approaching a mega sweet stash like this, where she doesn't feel like she needs to eat the whole bar because she isn't restricting herself on her not filming days. So there really isn't any kind of need to swing between chocolate binge and get all the chocolate out of the house.
I try to work out every day. I did a 30-minute HIIT workout and a 10-minute abs. On busy days today, like I know that we're gonna be out all day, I usually just do a workout at home in the morning right when I wake up, and then it's done for the day. I love starting my day active because I just feel like it wakes me up. It's like a cup of coffee. Like, get your workout in, feel active, feel good, then the rest of your day is gonna follow and also be good.
Again, this sounds like a totally normal, healthy approach to exercise as well. Like, I haven't heard anything here about needing to exercise to burn off all the calories she's gonna eat. I haven't heard that she hates working out, but she has to because of her job. What I hear is that she loves to start her day with activity because it sets her on the right track for the rest of the day. It just makes her feel great.
I'm in an excellent mood right now.
As for exercise timing, all movement is good movement in my book, so kind of fit it in wherever it works for you. But there is ample evidence on the benefits of morning exercise specifically, partially for physiological reasons related to circadian rhythm benefits, but also for appetite and craving regulation as well. So one study found that women who performed morning exercise showcased lower neural activity related to food pictures compared to women who didn't exercise. Then a week later, they repeated the process without the morning exercise, and they found that their brains had a stronger response to those photos of food. They also found that morning exercise helped increase overall physical activity throughout the day. In other words, starting her day with exercise may help Karissa approach these kind of fun foods with greater body attunement and mental calmness so that she's able to listen to her body, enjoy a few bites, and then move on. Love it.
Actually not starving right now because we had sandwiches and Dubai chocolate and I tried some of the nuts that they gave us. We are gonna go eat some Paris steak. They start you out with this walnut salad that's got this like mustardy vinaigrette dressing. It's really nice and crunchy and refreshing, and just look at how juicy this steak was. As you can see, I didn't quite finish mine, but Chris destroyed his. He's such a good eater.
Again, seems like she's listening to her body, like not arriving at these meals starving and not feeling pressure to eat everything on her plate, even if it is unlimited. And even if there is more fat and calories in a restaurant meal like this, there's also inherently a lot of balance going on. Like we got fiber in the salad, which looks amazing by the way. We got protein in the beef and carbs in the fries. Even though there may have been foods in this day that diet culture would characterize as quote unquote unhealthy, I actually see a really balanced, normal approach to food here in portions that are completely reasonable for someone her size. But let's take a look at another day.
And now we are gonna do a mukbang.
Oh dear, we were doing so well.
Yep, that's good. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really filling though. Damn! I'm gonna see if Chris wants any because I'm getting full.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, but I was a bit triggered by the M word because what once was just like sharing a normal meal with others online has been co-opted to normalize binge eating. So I don't know, I was gearing up for something more like this. But I'm actually pleasantly surprised because this basically just looks kind of like a normal meal. Like we're not dyeing our noodles green and making, a dozen packets of them for the sake of shock value. But we got some carbs in our noodles and rice cakes, plus we got protein and fat in the dumplings, cheese, and egg. I mean, obviously if I put my dietitian hat on here and I was saying, okay, is this an everyday meal? If so, I would probably add in some fiber by throwing in some greens or frozen veg. But even without it, it doesn't feel performatively unhealthy just to get views. Especially because it's clear she's listening to her body when she gets full and is ready to pass off the rest of the bowl to her partner when she does. That said, what's not totally clear here is if this is the only thing she ate on this day, because it is the only thing that she showed. And I don't know if that's intentional or even accurate, but either way, let's move on to Wednesday.
Do a fast food video today because it's been a minute since I've done one.
Okay, I'm not gonna go through this whole day right here, but basically it's like a little Pincho's bar hopping, but with fast food. So from what she showed, she had a couple bites of a taco, a few fries dipped in a Frosty, a whole Domino's lava cake, and a big bite of some kind of like saucy chicken finger French fry sandwich. Again, she mentions that she's brought her partner Chris with her to kind of help her eat, but she doesn't mention if there's any other meals in this day. And while it's very possible she's able to kind of like stay within the range of her calorie needs on a day like this, there's no chance she would be meeting her nutrient needs for things like fiber, maybe protein, and most micronutrients. But let's move on to Thursday. So on Thursday, she again only shows one meal, and that's at a dumpling restaurant where she gets some cucumber salad, soup dumplings, spicy wontons, sesame noodles, fried rice, pot stickers, and these like chocolate mochi dumplings. And again, I think this looks like a totally normal way to order and eat when you're at a restaurant dining with friends. And we don't know how many pieces she ate or what or if she ate anything else in the day. And that just kind of goes to show that even though this video was supposed to be super transparent, kind of to help people understand how a young woman can eat out every single day of the week and maintain her physique, much of social media is still kind of a mystery. Like the narrative and optics are just so heavily controlled by the creator that it really makes zero sense to even try to remotely relate it to your own diet and lifestyle. But let's move on to Friday.
The idea is we're going to make a Chipotle bowl, but with Olive Garden. So we're just gonna like combine all the pastas and meatballs and everything in a bowl and then eat it with breadsticks. I'm so excited. Saving all of the pasta for later, and then also I have salad and soups and breadsticks, so I'm gonna have a friend over tonight and we're all gonna eat.
Okay, even though I'm never ever gonna get the appeal of watching people make these kind of over the top unhealthy meal creations for shock value, I at least appreciate when a creator listens to her body and like shares the rest with her friends rather than turning it into some kind of eating competition spectacle as we see so often online.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I eat on days that I'm doing mukbangs. I had a bite of a bagel earlier, but other than that, I'm just eating that much Olive Garden and then I'll probably eat a little bit more later, but I definitely don't eat all of it by any means, and I try to just eat that on days when I'm doing mukbangs because I know I have to eat more than usual, so I don't want to like eat a normal sized breakfast. Like I kind of try to fast during the day leading up to the mukbang,
So there you go. The reason why Karissa can eat fast food every day and not gain weight is because it's the only meal she's eating in that day. And even at that meal, she's not eating well past the point of satiety. And I'm so grateful that she's being transparent about it. Like a lot of creators would probably just let people believe that they have some kind of like superhuman metabolism. But still, I do not think this is like a very healthy pattern to be promoting en masse. Like it feels very black and white where we're either fasting all day to be able to go to dinner or we're throwing together as many unhealthy foods as we can. And I get why creators do this, right? Like this is heavily rewarded by the algorithm and by fans. We as a society only have two modes. We either want to see a beautiful creator eat super clean, healthy, low-calorie meals, or we want to see a beautiful creator eat like over-the-top unhealthy foods in fast succession. So in the Olive Garden mukbang scenario, she mentions that she also had soup and salad there, which would of course have made for a more balanced meal with fiber, protein, carbs, and fat. But people don't want to see balance, right? They either want to see only salad or they want to see 4 orders of pasta dumped into a casserole dish. And it could be there. So like on Saturday, she shows herself making this like creamy cucumber salad and it looks great. And then on Sunday, she describes having a picnic, though she doesn't show what's consumed. But you don't see that kind of food content shared on her page or feed. We basically just see a compilation of all of these higher calorie junk food reviews. So anyways, that's the weight management piece. It's really just basic calorie balance. If you're only eating 1 meal a day, it obviously can be a higher calorie meal. But at the start of the video, one of the questions she reads out loud from a fan was, how do you eat so much and stay healthy? And I want to make it clear that this is somebody else's words, it's not hers. And again, Karissa did make a point to clarify her belief that you could be healthy in different sized bodies. But as you can tell by this question, there is an assumption that despite doing all of these mukbangs and eating all of this fried food and desserts, Karissa must be healthy solely because she is thin. And to be clear, I'm not suggesting that she's not healthy. I don't have her lab values. I don't have any reason to believe she's unhealthy, whatever that means anyway. You know, like healthy and unhealthy are not very clearly defined terms, and that's kind of my point here. But to the world, healthy is thin. In contrast, to me as a dietitian, whether being a food influencer is truly healthy would depend on a multitude of factors, none of which we're necessarily going to be able to see. So for example, does eating a ton of fried food in one day negatively affect physiological parameters like blood sugars, blood pressure, blood lipids? Does eating only 1 meal a day leave her undernourished of a lot of key nutrients like fiber and micronutrients? And this may or may not be apparent now. Like Karissa is very young, and if she's lucky enough not to have a genetic predisposition towards chronic disease, her body might just be a lot more forgiving of a lower nutrition diet than someone who is predisposed. Now, the healthfulness of this lifestyle is also about how a diet like this would make you feel in your body. So does eating a huge carb-heavy meal give you like aggressive fluctuations in energy levels and mood? Are you having normal, healthy bowel movements while going days without getting in a whole lot of fiber? And then you also have to ask yourself how this affects your mental and emotional health as well. So does having to fast leading up to a mukbang leave you obsessively thinking about food all day? Do you feel like you can truly listen to your body's true cues and desires for, let's say, salad when the algorithm only rewards you for eating fries? Again, these are questions that really only Karissa would know the answer to. And at the end of the day, if this job as a food influencer known for mukbangs and unhealthy food hauls brings Karissa joy, then who are we to judge? Like, you do you.
You do you, boo.
And even though I do think extreme diet content like this can contribute to our society's like problematic black and white approach to food, I don't blame Karissa for participating in it. Again, we are all kind of victims to this up social media algorithm. And I am at least appreciative of her transparency in the video, and also for making it clear how she cuts down on food waste and listens to her body. Like, we can't say the same for a lot of other mukbangers online. But on that note, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. This is personally of interest to me because in my previous life, I did work in food media. So my approach was very different to this, in that when I was going to restaurants, I was eating balanced meals that included vegetables, that included protein. It wasn't just kind of like the most unhealthy things possible. And I also was eating completely normally throughout the day. So this does seem unnecessarily kind of restrictive or forced to me in a lot of ways, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, please don't forget to check out my new podcast, Bite Back with Abbey Sharp. It really helps me out. I'm gonna leave a link below, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well. And folks, another quick reminder to be kind in the comments. We like to keep this a respectful space, and I'll see you next time in Abby's Kitchen. Bye!